Hey, greetings YouTubers, and welcome back to another Toddy Walnuts collection overview video. And tonight we're going to go through my full moon features collection. I have some DVDs and some box sets and some VHS big boxes. I got a couple Blu-rays, and we're going to go through and show you guys everything that I have from the company Full Moon. So get yourselves relaxed, get a beverage and a snack, kick your feet up, and let's check out these movies. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the company Full Moon. They've been around forever, going back to the VHS days, and they were kind of a pioneer in some of their really good packaging on the VHS covers. And they were one of the first companies that so-called made the box art better than the movie type thing. And I think that's probably true for quite a bit of their titles. These are all reproductions of the big boxes that were originally from the 80s, 70s and 80s, I think. I purchased these about like 15 years ago directly from the Full Moon website. There are still some available. I think most of these have sold out by now. And to get your hands on the originals of these big boxes, you're going to have to pay a lot of money. Some of them are hundreds of dollars for those. So we'll get into those in a little bit. That's probably what most people are here for. But they do have some pretty cool movies too, and as low budget as they are, they're still pretty fun movies, and a lot of them were kind of aimed toward the, I guess, Grindhouse type audience. So we'll just get into it here with the first title. It's called Auditions. And this is kind of a sort of a documentary, a historic glimpse at the unique actors and bizarre personalities that showed up in Hollywood at a casting call for Fairy Tales 2 in 1978. I'm sure some of you remember that one or are aware of it. And it starred a very young Linnea Quigley, who was in Fairy Tales Creepazoids. Linnea Quigley was in a lot of stuff. She's great. And Charles Band is the owner and proprietor of Full Moon, and he's been a great businessman. Some people say he has sketchy business qualities, but I think he's done very good for the movie community and fans of film. And his brother Richard Band was often providing soundtracks for the movies. So they were a nice little team to provide us with entertainment. Here's another one called, since we're not going to cuss on this video, we're going to call this one Badass Mofos. They're calling it a Grindhouse Flicks original. Kind of a sort of blaxploitation. The production date was 2013 on this one. It says 101 minutes running time, unrated. Fred the Hammer Williamson is in here. He's a host. It says, welcome to the world of badass mofos, a place where the fists fly fast, the kicks pack a blast, and the soul sisters take down all the mistas, honey. From the streets of Harlem to the saloons of the Old West, this collection of the funkiest trailers and clips from flicks of the blaxploitation era will act as a game plan for taking down the man. Can you dig it? I enjoy these. I love trailer compilations, and especially movies from like the 70s, late 60s into the early 80s. There's a lot of kind of Grindhouse movies that maybe flew under the radar, and they may pique your interest if you watch these trailer compilations. So I usually grab those when I can. So the next one is called Blood Dolls. That one was, I believe that was directed by Charles Band. Let's see. Yep, it was produced and directed by Charles Band in 1999. Okay, so the next one, we're back to another Grindhouse Flicks original, and this one's called Blood of 1,000 Virgins. I almost said vampires, but this is a movie from 2013, 71 minutes running time. I don't think I've ever seen that one. I was trying to remember when I was reading on the back, but it doesn't really ring a bell. Here's part of the Subspecies franchise. This is Bloodstone Subspecies 2, directed by Ted Nicolau. Kind of a different sort of take on the vampire tradition. Here's Stuart Gordon's Deathbed. I think many of these have Blu-ray upgrades by now. Here's one called Dreamaniac, Wake Up and Die. Again, you have to give credit to the cover artist. For a lot of these movies were rented because of the cover art, going back to the VHS days. As you're walking up and down the aisle trying to figure out what movie you want for the night, and you're reading the back, trying to read the synopsis of the movies, and you look at the art and you're like, man, I have to grab this one. And you get home and you watch the movie and you're like, man, the cover was way better than the movie was. It's happened to all of us probably many times, but we kept going back because we wanted to get that gem, that hidden gem in the rough. And more often than not, we got some duds, but there were some good ones out there. Here's End of the World. It's a classic. They're calling it a classic sci-fi thriller. Next one is called The Film Gore. This is another, I think, horror compilation, trailer compilation. This one was hosted by Elvira. There you can see, special hostess Elvira, including murderous movie moments from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Snuff, 2000 Maniacs, Driller, Killer, Blood Feast, and more. And this one came out in 1983, and it's 85 minutes running time. There's Cassandra Peterson, better known as Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. And again, I do enjoy those trailer compilations. Okay, the next one is somewhat of a cult classic by now, Fraulein Devil. Kind of the German Nazi exploitation type films with captive women. It's kind of a subgenre. I never really got into that subgenre, but there are some cult classics out in that genre there. So next one's Headless Eyes. Check out this cover. So get that shine off there so you can see. There's a little tagline there, the upper left-hand corner. It says "Too gory for the silver screen." And I think that's just a fancy way of saying direct-to-video. Next one is called Horror Vision. This is a long one. This was a 3-hour movie. Almost like a mini series, approximately 3 hours. See there at the top, total running time. It was kind of directed as and presented as kind of a like a mini series, I guess. If you want to pause that and read it, feel free to do so. So then I have a couple movies that are the same movie, just different covers. Same movie, same title. It just came out at 2 different times. This was the first release of Intruder. Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi teamed up again for this movie. This is the unrated director's cut. And then they re-released it later as a signature edition. So this one's signed and has a different cover. And this one was signed by, I believe, Scott Spiegel, who was the director. I think he signed that. It was numbered to 250. I got number 47. And a movie called Jigsaw that has absolutely nothing to do with the Saw series. And quite frankly, it's not anywhere near as good as any of the Saw movies. I know there's a lot of, you either love it or hate it for the Saw franchise. And I thought they were really interesting movies, especially the first couple. It was kind of a new concept and a new idea, fresh new idea, and I liked it. And even as they went on, I thought they were still pretty good. I know there's a lot of people that dislike that franchise, but I always enjoyed it. Next one's called Mansion of the Doomed. Look at that cover. It says, what happens is so horrifying we can't even hint at it in the poster. When did this one come out? In 1976. 88 minutes running time. There's a sci-fi movie called Mutant Hunt. The length of that guy's arm there. This one came out in 1987. Kind of the, I would say maybe the heyday of VHS rentals around 85, 86, 87-ish. That was kind of the peak, but it also did go into the 90s though as well. The next one is called Necropolis. Beneath the metropolis is Necropolis. I think it's kind of a post-apocalyptic zombie type movie. Next one is a Paul Naschy in Orgy of the Living Dead. This one also has George Eastman. I don't think I can show you the back. I was going to see who directed it, but I'm not even going to risk it. I think the back has some no-nos on there. So we'll just keep moving to the Possessor. And like I said, a lot of these now have a Blu-ray upgrade if you're interested in that. But I just love the way that these look. I've had these for many, many years, well before the Blu-rays came out. So, and I rarely part with anything from my collection, so these will remain. Here's a really cool Puppet Master cover. This was also a signed edition. This was limited to 250. I got number 10. I think this was signed by Charles Band. I think. I used to know, but I forget because I can't remember everything all the time. But now that I mentioned it, I think the Intruder one, I don't know. I'm not going to go back. I don't remember. Next one's called Sideshow Freak Out. This was directed by Fred Olen Ray, who was also a legend in the low-budget independent horror scene. I think he's been great for fans. Next one is some more Nazi exploitation. This one's called SS Hell Camp. Horrifying experiences during the last days of the SS. And I have to be careful with this one because this one, it looks like it's okay to show, but there are some images of Nazi memorabilia, and I'm not sure how YouTube feels about that. So, but anyway, this movie came out in 1977. It's 86 minutes runtime. And they had some good variety of genres at Full Moon. So you have a sword and sorcery or a sword and sandal movie here called Thor, Final Conqueror, or Thor the Conqueror. These movies are pretty fun. I enjoy these. This one came out in 1983, so they were definitely trying to kind of cash in on the success of Conan and Arnold Schwarzenegger. And the next one is called Tormentor. It says, screaming can't save you from this steely blade. guess kind of a nod to the Eagles, Hotel California. There was a line in the movie, or in the Hotel California, when he says, he mentions Steely Blade, I think it was. And at that point, at that time, it was a nod and a wink to their friend Steely Dan. But I think this one is, they're kind of trying to copy Hotel California. Could stab it with their steely knife, but they just can't kill the beast, is what the Hotel California lyric was. Next one is Totem, the Shape of Nightmares to Come. Look at that low budget cover. Here's a really fun one. I enjoy Tourist Trap. You never really hear too many people talk about this one. This was at the time the 20th anniversary special edition. The movie came out in 1990. So it's already 35 years old now. Here's Trancers. Jack Death, played by Tim Thomerson. Also has Helen Hunt in it. Good little sci-fi series. This one was signed by Charles Band and Tim Thomerson. Out of 250, got number 19. The movie came out in 1985. It got a PG-13 rating, and it was 76 minutes. There's Jack Death right there. Pretty fun little series there. Okay, so the next one is a movie that shares the same title with like 3 or 4 other movies called Trauma. And this one, hold on a second, I gotta change the lighting really quick. Take my glasses off. Maybe that would help a little bit. I was getting a glare. So here we're back to Trauma. This is the Italian Trauma. This one came out in 1978. It's unrated and 85 minutes. A private school for girls is sent into waves of horror when one of the students is found brutally murdered. Young investigator DeSalvo finds dead ends everywhere until he uncovers a startling connection between the school and a sinful villa outside of town which panders to rich men's fancies. So there's a Trauma by Argento, but that's not this one. And then there's this Trauma, and I think there's like 2 other movies called Trauma. Here's Vampire Diaries. I believe this is part of the Subspecies franchise, but I still have not watched this one yet. Next one is called The Vault. Here's Vengeance of the Dead. Here's White Slave. It's supposed to be based on a true story, apparently. Here's The Legend of the Wolf Woman. That's a great title, and it's a great cover, too. It says, a true story so brutal and horrifying it was kept from the public for over a century. We have an Italian action jungle movie called Zambo. Take a look at the back of this one. First, we'll take a look at that cover. And this one came out in 1972, unrated, 95 minutes running time. You can see the low-budget Italian jungle movies are good. They're fun. I gotta be in the right mood to watch them, but here's another sort of a trailer compilation, I guess. Zombie-thon, the liveliest festival of the dead is about to begin. 1986, 90 minutes running time. It's rated R. So it says, just when you thought it was safe to go back into the graveyard, Zombie-thon puts more dead bodies back into action than Frankenstein ever dreamed of, as one zombie gem after another creeps across your screen. So if you enjoy trailer compilations, you might want to check out a couple of the ones that I discussed. So up next we have 2 box sets. I'm going to take you in the bedroom. As long as you don't tell anybody, it'll be our secret. And I'll go through these box sets with you. And there's a couple Blu-rays. We may as well just go through those now. First one is called Gore in Venice. This was kind of a rare title when Full Moon first put it out, which was in 2022. But the movie came out in 1979. It is 99 minutes running time. I remember a lot of people were grabbing that one. And if you like giallo type movies, you'd enjoy that one. And then here's the Tourist Trap Blu-ray. It is the Blu-ray DVD combo, uncut. This was a HamiltonBook.com exclusive, as you can see on the bottom. It was limited to 500. And these are long sold out now. I'm sure you can probably get this on eBay or something. So I'm gonna stop the recording here. Gonna grab these box sets and we'll go open them up and take a look. Okay, so the first one here, we're joined by the lovely ladies in the Walnuts compound bedroom at the moment. And this is the Killjoy box set. This was the original first 3. I believe there's 6 total now. I think part 4 was called Killjoy Goes to Hell, and I think there was a couple after that. So they may be up to number 7 now, or they have 6 made. I think there's going to be part 7 or something like that. But this is the Diabolical Trilogy box set. These movies are not great by any stretch of the imagination, but they're still somewhat fun, I guess. I like clown movies, killer clown movies, so I mean, I enjoy these. Here's the first one. Really not a whole lot to it. There's no booklets or reversible cover or anything like that, but this one came out in the year 2000, 90 minutes running time. If you're interested in checking out anything that they have in their catalog, you can just go right down to fullmoondirect.com. They have a lot of cool stuff over there. They have horror figures and VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, 4K box sets, all kinds of stuff like that. They even have the, I think it's the Delirium magazine that you can subscribe to. I thought about doing that before, but I just haven't done it yet. Their magazine is really good. Here's Killjoy 2. And this one came out in 2002. Rated R, 72 minutes. That's a good length for a movie like this, 72 minutes. Could probably even be a little bit shorter, to be honest. But and here's Killjoy 3. This one came out in 2010. 78 minutes running time, not rated. You can take a look at some of the screen grabs there. Kind of see what you're getting into. So that was the original Killjoy trilogy. And the next box set is called the Full Moon Classics Volume 2. I do have Volume 1 also. I'm going to show you that here in a little bit. Volume 1 was a really big box set. I'll probably end up taking that in here on the bed too, just because it'll probably be a little bit easier to show that way. But in this volume, Volume 2, you get Robot Wars, Mandroid, Lurking Fear, Invisible, the Chronicles of Benjamin Knight. It's hard to read that right there, but it's really small print. It looks like the Chronicles of Benjamin Knight. It's easier to read through the phone than through my peepers. And the last one is Dark Angel, the Ascent. And this is what I mean about the packaging and the design stuff that Charles Band used. He was really a great salesman when it came to packaging his physical media. This stuff is really, really cool. You can see that there's a nice synopsis for each of the movies. We're not going to go through that, but I appreciate that little bit of attention to detail. And the movies came in very similar packaging. The only thing that changed was the title. So you have the Full Moon Classics. It has that image and the title. The title is also on the spine. And the second one has Lurking Fear, same image. Invisible, the Chronicles of Benjamin Knight. And Robot Wars, which I had a lot of fun with this movie. I think this may be my favorite movie in this box set. But Lurking Fear is pretty good too, though. And Dark Angel. And then on the back, they each kind of have their own little synopsis. Pretty sure most of these have a Blu-ray release. And so there's the box. Nice little box set. I like these. And I wanted to show you guys this kind of limited special edition box set. Some of you probably remember this. That was put up by Full Moon probably 15 years ago now, I would say. It says 2013, so 12 years ago. This was the collector's edition of the movie Unlucky Charms, which came in this cereal box. And it's exactly a cereal box in every sense of the word. I mean, it has the little flaps. It's the same consistency or feel to it. It has this little, I put a little Velcro strip up here to keep it from, this box is kind of tore up. I'm going to pause it really quick. We'll open it. There's a couple rips here. So again, we'll just kind of do a once over on the cereal box. A pretty cool idea, I guess, to have the packaging like this, but it's impractical if you're a collector and you're trying to display some of this stuff or store them on the shelves. It's kind of a eyesore and kind of cumbersome, I guess is the word I'm looking for, but it came with this big bag of like those kind of mushrooms you would get in Lucky Charms. These things are 12 years old now, or 13 years old, and of course I would never eat these, but at one time I suppose you could have if you wanted to, but for me it's just going to be part of the collectible, I guess, until it rots, who knows what. But it came with a little bit of literature. You have the fullmoonstreaming.com advertisement card here, and you get another little advert card here for fullmoondirect.com. You can go check out their catalog. They have a lot of fun movies. I'm sure there's something you'd like over there. And they have the DVD of Unlucky Charms. They're magically malicious. Definitely they borrowed some of their inspiration, I guess we'll call it, unless you want to just outright call them a thief or thieves. But they were definitely going for the leprechaun kind of feel for this movie. Magically malicious. This movie came out in 2013, and it is unrated. And they also threw in this little collector's cards limited edition set from Puppet Master. This also came with the box set. It was thrown in. And I think what I'll do is I'll pause it. There's Charles Band, the man who owns and operates Full Moon, and he has I have nothing but good things to say about Charles Band. I thought he was a great businessman. I know there's a lot of questionable things that happened over the years, and there's a lot of people who have been turned off by that. But I'm really thankful for Charles Band for the things that he's provided us for entertainment over the years. So I'm going to pause it here. We're going to go through these little trading cards, and then we'll go back into the living room and finish up in there. Okay, so these are the Puppet Master trading cards, kind of like a little advertisement for each of the movies. I have to be honest, as far as Puppet Master goes, I'm really not the biggest fan of the Puppet Master franchise. I thought the first couple were pretty entertaining. Some of the characters are pretty cool. The Toulon trunk is really cool. I like the way that that looks. But as far as some of the later sequels, I just never really got into this franchise. But there is some info on the back about the characters in the movie, and you can see, I don't even really know what order these are in. But here's Puppet Master 2. I don't know what order these went in, so I'm just going to keep pulling from this pile. I don't know if the Legacy was 3, so I'm not sure. Here's Retro Puppet Master. Some of the characters look really cool, though. I will give him that. There's, I think Blade, that's his name. Blade was always kind of my favorite, I guess. I think a lot of people probably feel that way. This one's called Curse of the Puppet Master. You have Puppet Master Axis of Evil. There's Puppet Master 5, so they're not in order. I don't even think I've ever seen this one. I don't recognize that villain, I guess. Here's Puppet Master 4. And 3. It says coming soon, Cyber Jester and Cyber Blade. I know they were selling some of these figures on their website, but I think they go pretty quick. I think the collectors snatch these up really fast, and they don't last long on the website. So if that's something you're interested in, you may want to go check out the website, fullmoondirect.com. Get on their mailing list and just wait for emails for when cool things come out, and you can be one of the first to pre-order it. So that is that's part of the Unlucky Charms cereal box set. Little change of plans. I was going to show this on the shelf, but rather than to fight it with one hand while I'm recording on a shelf, I thought it may be a little bit easier if I kind of stretch it out here on the bed. So this is the big box set. It's called the Archive Collection. It's put up by Full Moon Features. It's a 18 DVD set. And the first X amount of box sets, let's see, I think it is numbered. The first 900 box sets were signed by Charles Band. There, it's a pretty cool little collectible, a little gimmick. I like it. And let's see the other side here. You got the beautiful Full Moon logo. Some of the characters in the background there. Really nice set. And all the movies are housed in these DVD cases. So you have Full Moon Features, the Archive Collection, that's printed on every DVD, so I'm not going to repeat that on every one. But the movies that you get in this set are Puppet Master, and then you get part 2 and 3. You also get Robot Wars, The Pit and the Pendulum, Crash and Burn, Arcade, Dollman, Castle Freak, Demonic Toys, Head of the Family, Dr. Mordred, Then you get transfers. These are a little bit out of order, but you get transfers 1, 2, and 3. And then you get the subspecies trilogy. You get 1, 2, and 3. And again, they all, like this other box set, they all had kind of the same uniform type artwork on the cover. But then it just had the individual titles on the side. And on the inside, the disc is just, basically it's the same for every single release, for every title. It just has the name of the movie on the disc that changes, that's all. And then on the back, it shows a little bit about the movie. And this is a really cool set. And we'll flip it upside down and you can kind of see what the original artwork for each of those looked like. So I know I really enjoy doing that, and I'm sure a lot of you do too. You like to see what the original artwork looked like. So here is the Puppet Masters and Dollman. Let me see if I can get in a little bit closer here. And Demonic Toys, the Pit and the Pendulum. Good little mixture of sci-fi and horror. There we go. So that is kind of, I guess, the crown jewel of my full moon collection. Although I do enjoy the VHS tapes, are pretty nice in my opinion too. Even if they are reproductions, I really like them. So that was my little full moon box set collection. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to pause it, put some of the stuff away, and then by the time we come back, it's going to be the snap of a finger for you. We're going to jump into those VHS tapes. So let's check those out. Okay, so we do have 2 more shelves to show, and these are all going to be VHS tapes. And these are alphabetized. So the first one here is called The Beast. It was a peaceful mountain retreat until it came home. This was put out by Wizard Video. Actually, you know what, I'm gonna put this one off to the side just for now to make it a little easier to show these. Next one's called Blood Castle. Look at that. Welcome to our horror hotel. What a cover that is. And Breeders. Demoniac. Oops, this one's backwards. How did that happen? This was Dream Maniac. You don't have to live on Elm Street to have a nightmare. An original made-for-video feature film. Erotikill. Can any man quench the blood passion of Irina? Here's a jungle movie, captured women type movie. Tortured, tormented, abused. 2 captive women fight for the freedom from a jungle hell escape. There's another one that's backwards. Oh, I guess it wasn't backwards. This one's called Famous TNA, hosted by Sybil Danning. This is a trailer compilation, I think, exposing Ursula Andress, Bridget Bardot, Jacqueline Bisset, Sybil Danning, Phyllis Davis, all of the honeys of the film. That was a swimsuit. I'm not going to risk that though. kind of like a little historical piece, interviewing, I think it was interviewing some of these ladies. Let me look off camera here for a second. It says, famous TNA is an all-star collection of recognizable personalities who have displayed their seductive celebrity skins for the camera. Now we present these sparkling segments in one erotic omnibus. So it must be all of their, I guess, kind of their nudie scenes that they've done in their career. Next one is called Fear. Look at this cover. It's the ultimate journey into terror. My goodness. Here's Fraulein Devil again. We also have that on DVD. Here is Headless Eyes. He's out there, out of sight and out of his mind. And we have Hell Train, a train ride to terror. The Invisible Dead. That looks like something Fulci would have on one of his movies. God help us if they rise again. Mandinga. That's probably my least favorite in this collection. I'm not really into that kind of stuff. Here's Monster Hunter. Pray you survive the hunt. Oasis of the Zombies. Look at that. The ultimate confrontation with the flesh-eating living dead. Holy smokes. And the last one on this shelf is The Possessor. Nothing can satisfy her unholy hungers. The final challenge of The Exorcist. So you can tell that they're definitely trying to cash in on The Exorcist, not only just from the character, but you can even see the priest. I mean, it's very blatant that they were definitely going for The Exorcist ripoff. So that's the end of the first shelf. I'm gonna get something to drink really quick and we'll finish up on the last shelf and we'll wrap this up. Okay, so here is the final portion of this video. We're gonna go through and talk about these big box VHS tapes. And the first one is called Return of the Zombies. The Dead Walk Among Us Again. Another beautiful cover. And you had to be able to catch someone's eye with a quickness because you want them to grab your movie to rent it. Next one's called Savage Island. Justice is another word for revenge. Starring Linda Blair. There. That was put out on Force Video, which was also a, I guess, subsidiary or a sub-company of Full Moon, as was Wizard Video. The Screaming Dead, they have awakened, and they are the sound of terror. Get you a good look here at the Wizard Video logo. I think that's one of the best logos in the game. That goes back decades. That's a great logo. Next one is called The Best of Sex and Violence. It's called Titillating Highlights from the Most Provocative Motion Pictures of the Century, hosted by the Master of Menace himself, John Carradine. Space Vampires. There's a few of these kind of movies, and I'm always very intrigued I love space movies and I love vampire movies, so you put them together, and I think that's a great, fun time. That was space vampires. This one's space zombies. Here is the original I Spit on Your Grave, which has become a cult classic over the years. This is the original complete 102-minute uncut version. This woman has just cut, chopped, broken, and burned 5 men beyond recognition. A revenge movie. You're all well aware of I Spit on Your Grave, and you're all well aware that this cover model is Demi Moore, although she has nothing to do with the movie or the franchise at all. She was just chosen as the cover model to show her derriere. Fun fact. Next one is called SS Experiment. Here is Tormentor. It says, "Screaming can't save you from his steely blade." We already went through that with the DVD that we showed earlier. The next one is not a VHS. It was a Blu-ray release that they put in a VHS big box case, and I thought that was pretty cool. So this is what you get inside that Blu-ray. It's in here right now. I'm just not going to open it. You know what? Maybe I will take this in the other room because there's a little action figure of the Chuck Connors character. So I'll put this off to the side, and at the very, very end, we'll go through that on the bed. Here's Trauma again. This is the VHS edition of it. Here is A Virgin Among the Living Dead. Here's another Force video. We'll get a good look at this logo too. This was a White Slave. Here's the Force video logo right there. And probably my favorite, these next two, I would say, are my favorite two of the VHS releases, and this was the original Zombie. We're Going to Eat You. That's a great cover. I love the way that that looks with the Wizard logo banner at the bottom. Just everything about this is perfect. It's beautiful. And the next one's really good too. This is Zombie Lake. Although this movie is not as good as Zombie, the cover is just as damn good. I mean, that is really, really cool. This one has a pretty good cast in it too. Howard Vernon. I thought Peter Cushing was in here. I think I'm mistaking this movie for a different one. There was another different kind of a, I guess a Nazi zombie movie from the early 70s. I think Peter Cushing was in it. And the very last one here is called Zombie-thon, and this is another sort of a compilation. It says, brought to life especially for home video. Shambling shapes, crawling creeps, fleshless fiends. The liveliest festival of the dead is about to begin. Let me see, what does this say? Just when you thought it was safe to go back into the graveyard. Okay, we did read this one earlier with the DVD, so we're not going to go through that again, but that's a great cover though. So that was my full moon collection. Stick around, we're going to go through that tourist trap box, but I just wanted to show you this really quick, and we're going to wrap this up right after the tourist trap. So here's what the box looks like. We'll just kind of do a quick once over. I wish that they would do more of these. I don't care if they're reproductions, that doesn't matter to me at all. I know some people are purists and they won't touch anything that's a reproduction. And I know that there's a lot of guys, Weird Paul, one of my buddies here on YouTube, has collected a lot of the original Wizard video hard boxes. Not only are they hard to find, but when you do find them, they're very expensive, and he has quite a nice collection. But to me, paying a fraction of a price for a better condition, I guess, display piece or collectible, I don't mind that. I really do not mind reproductions. So here's what the Blu-ray looks like. It's a Blu-ray DVD combo. It's uncut. If you haven't seen this movie, check it out. It's really good. So there's the, what is that there? This is the DVD and the Blu-ray. There you can see some of the still frames from the movie, which came out in 1979. It's PG, believe it or not, but it's a really good horror movie. Don't let PG stop you from watching it. It's 90 minutes, too. It's a good movie. Chuck Connor's there. He played a great role. He really made it. He made the movie as creepy as it was. He went by the character Mr. Slauson. And speaking of Mr. Slauson, here's a little figure that came with this box set. And it's just, it's very small. It's a very tiny figure, but it's cool. It has a little card. It's a blister. They call these blister packs, and then it has, they call this the card on the back. And it has everything that you need as a collectible. It has the title of the movie, has the full moon logo, has the character from the movie, and it has the character's name. So this is a really, really cool little collectible piece. And on the back, it talks a little bit about the movie. It says, producer Charles Band's 1979 shocker Tourist Trap is widely considered one of the scariest horror films of all time, and with good reason. Legendary actor Chuck Connors stars as Slauson, the telekinetic psychopath who lures young people to his ramshackle roadside attraction and unleashes an army of psychically controlled mannequins, and more upon the tormented teens. Now you can finally take Slauson home with this designed mini replica of the madman himself, pocket-sized and built to terrorize. There's a couple other characters you can get in box sets. You can get Blade, Torch, Jester, and Laser Blast Alien. I didn't really feel the need to get those. I don't know if I ever will, to be honest, but I knew I had to get this one. Pretty sure this sold out a long time ago, but you may be able to find it on eBay. So that's going to wrap up the video. Miss Hannah is always, she's always by my side. That right there is a great dog. She's been a great friend to me. She's my bestie. She would go anywhere I would go. And I really appreciate her as a friend. And I appreciate you watching. So hope you enjoyed the video. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.